Yo, welcome to the stream. My name is Steph. Let me know if you can hear me. I'm trying out this mic again. Hopefully I got the volume so it's nice and clear today. Anyway, so I got a couple of good questions that were put to me yesterday. I figured I'd answer them in this video. So somebody who is a front-end developer, due to AI, if I understood his question correctly, is wondering if we should get into the back-end as well. That's question number one. Number two, somebody wanted to know whether they should get the MacBook Pro or the MacBook Air as software in software development. Anyway, so welcome to the stream. I hope everything is good. Cheers. Let me know in the comments if you can hear me clearly. Let me know if you can hear me clearly in the comments. I would appreciate that. And then we'll just jump into the two things I discussed. And then I'll do a little Q&A, and we'll take it from there. So I hope everybody is well. Code Long and Profit. Let me know if you can hear me. Also, let me know where you're watching from. You know, say, I guess Tijuana border. I guess you're in Tijuana border jumper. I guess you're in Mexico, dude. Loud and clear. Good, 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 good. Yeah, let me know where you're from. And then as you jump in, I'm going to give people about a minute or so to jump in. Oh, perfect. Good, good, good. So you guys approve of this new mic? It's just a lot easier because I don't have to have a mic in my face and I can move around. It just makes it easier for me to record my video here. Anyway, I hope everything is good. All right, cool. Orlando, Florida. Tijuana. Google, excuse me. Zambia, Zimbabwe, excuse me. Wow, Chad, wow, all over the world. Unbelievable, fantastic. All right, so yeah, as you come in, let me know where you're from. I'm just gonna jump into the subject and then people will have to go watch the replay. So question number one, if you are a front-end developer, somebody asked me whether or not they should get into the back-end. I have always been a big proponent. I've always been a big proponent of working both ends. You want to work both ends. It's just going to open up many more job opportunities if you know the full stack, basically the back end and the front end. That is for sure. For every pure front end job there's probably multiples of that in terms of back end or full stack. So I would learn the full stack for sure. That's my recommendation. It has been way before the AI age, way before the AI age. Now in the AI age, they're all becoming one and the same, right? Now, I just want to, before I get into this, I want to point out something. I think this is the best time in decades to become a software developer. I know, with all the doomers out there, it seems counterproductive. And the reason I think that, because I'm starting to see it now in the market. I'm starting to see a huge growing demand for software developers, but not for old school software developers from 5 years ago. You got to leverage the new stuff now. You got to leverage the new stuff. Of course, that is using AI to augment your software development, learning how to integrate AI with your front end or your back end. This is the future of software development. People who adopt it early are going to be in a really good position. So yeah, if you're a front-end developer, I would definitely learn the back end. It's just going to create more job opportunities for you. That is for sure. That is for sure. What else is there? Next question. Laptops. What laptop would I buy in terms of, there's two choices that somebody put in the comment. Number one was MacBook Pro or MacBook Air. If the MacBook Air is significantly cheaper, which I think it is, I would just go with a MacBook Air for 99% of people who are in software development. For those of you who are not into the Apple ecosystem, you have to understand is that Apples have a very high resale value. Like when I used to resell my laptops, I would often get, a few years later, I'd get like half of what I paid for it. You know, it is very, they're very powerful. So that being said, you don't need to get a brand new laptop. I'm still using a 2020 MacBook Air. Now I loaded it up with maximum RAM and a big hard disk. think it was, do I have a 2 terabyte? I might have a 2 terabyte. I'm not sure. It could be only a terabyte. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, just get as much RAM as you can. But 24 gigabyte of RAM will be enough to do just about anything you possibly need to do in terms of software development. So yeah, those are my 2 choices. Those are my 2 choices. So let's see if you guys got any questions. I'm just going to go through the comments here. I can hear perfectly. Tijuana, Orlando, Zimbabwe, Chad. Front-end to DevOps, Kubernetes, doctor, 5 years of experience, AWS infrastructure networking. So I'm not sure if that's a question or a statement of your abilities, Mark. With the help of AI, you should learn as much as you can, front end, back end, side end, upside down end. Well, yeah, it's all flowing into each other, right? I've been paying attention a lot to what's going on in the AI space and development. And the fact of the matter is the hyper-productive AI are the people who know how to traditional software development, and they apply those principles and methodologies into their AI workflows. So sometimes they're doing pure AI, sometimes they're writing code with the help of AI, sometimes they're writing parts of the code with AI and they're doing other things. You got to understand, if you're a beginner, prior to AI, as you became a more advanced developer, you worked less and less with code on a daily basis. You're much more involved in thinking about architecture, making choices about technologies to leverage in there. You're a system thinker, and that's actually a big part of being a software developer. But now, in the AI age, being a system thinker is a huge thing. It's a huge thing. Argentina, could you recommend a software architecture course covering patterns, resilience, etc.? I don't have a particular course, although I'm getting into that more and more in my mentoring program, UncleSteph.com. First thing I would do is look at refactoring. There's a famous book by this guy named Martin Fowler. If you look below the video, you'll find a link to it on Amazon. There's a Java and a JavaScript version of the book, which the principles apply to all languages, by the way. And in terms of architecture, on the low-level architecturally, on the low level, I would just look at design patterns. Just basic, understand what MVC is, facade, dependency injection. These are fundamental to all that we do in terms of software. Yeah. What's your opinion on developing web apps with Rust or C++ through WebAssembly? I haven't done it. You have to ask yourself why you'd want to do it. I guess your speed of development. But I would, again, my main focus these days is to learn your fundamentals of coding, whether you do C++ or web apps or, I don't know, Swift development for iOS. But get the fundamentals down, but incorporate AI tools as you go along. The modern developer is going to use AI tools. If you want a job, you want high-paying jobs, you want to be high demand, it's the developers who understand the AI stacks as well as the fundamentals of coding. So before I would get into DSA, into the minutia of writing code, I would spend more time on the AI low-code implementation. Again, don't think that AI is replacing developer. It is not. It's a power tool. It's a power tool. And it offers you maximum flexibility. So I was getting into web apps, you have to ask yourself, when would I want to use Rust or C++ through WebAssembly to do this? Why and when? What's the point? I assume it's high performance. So one of your jobs as a developer would be to determine what this particular project needs. Sometimes it may need WebAssembly. Sometimes it may need just, a simple CRUD implementation with some full stack framework or something. It really depends, right? One of the things I would suggest that you do, and it's part of my Ruby joke, is that you get rid of this idea that one language is necessarily better than the other language. In some ways, each language has its strength. In some ways, each database has its strengths and weaknesses. In some ways, AI is fantastic. In some ways, it's not. but you have to just know when it makes sense to use C++ or to use Rust or to maybe just going to do something in Python, right? You have to make those judgment calls. And that's a big part of what being a developer is to be able to make those judgment calls about these technology choices, you know? So let me know if you got any other questions by the way. So yeah, I did a live stream, it was a couple of days ago, and I had about 50 people unsubscribe. So now I'm down to 277,502. I don't know what the real number is, something like that. Because what happens when you have a new technology change like this, it challenges people's, people get into camps, right? I'm in camp C++, or I'm in camp JavaScript, or I am in camp code. And then other people are in camp AI now, you know, and they're fighting each other. But when new stuff comes about, it makes sense to employ the new stuff, right? It really does, it really does. So if you have any questions, we're only a small group so far tonight. As you can see, I'm starting to do lives again. I have to set a set schedule. I'm going to do a poll on the website, on the YouTube, to get us a set time to do these things so that everybody can get in on them. Anyway, yeah, you have to be open-minded as a developer, right? You have to be open-minded. What you say is BS. What I say is BS. All right, why is it BS? Tell me why it's BS. Let's see what you have to say. I'm open to debate. Tell me. Remember, I was writing code commercially in 1994. I've written code, lots of commercial code in Java and C# and PHP and JavaScript and Python and a whole bunch of other languages. I've written tons and tons of code. I've probably written more code than other people. Always clickbait videos. Why I answered a question right at the top of the stack. The clickbait, the video title was, if you know front end, should you learn back end? Short answer, yeah. And the question was about, you know, how AI is affecting this. And I've always said flexibility of mind, and the ability to have a broader range of skills to come to the market with, you're better off, right? So, you know, my principles are consistent. Nothing has changed from what I've said from the AI age to now. What niches are best for web designers, devs, like SaaS, local services, e-com? You're going to find a lot of freelance web designers and devs. You're going to find a lot of e-commerce. You're going to find a lot of branding sites. This is for freelancers. You know, small business development is very different than enterprise level development. Very different. Different set of requirements, different set of clients. So enterprise is very large organizations. Small business or small business. So when you're doing web design and development for small business, you know, you're looking at JavaScript, you're looking at PHP, right? You're looking at a lot of e-commerce integration, a lot of WordPress. That's just the nature of the game, you know? Now AI is coming into it. Like if you get into AI, like somebody in the last stream said, since he started offering AI, he's got tons of work coming in. I'm seeing it all the time. But if you're doing the enterprise, large scale, then it's like a lot of C#, a lot of Java. There's some JavaScript as well. There's always exceptions. But as a general rule, that's what it is. What would you advise for moving up and getting out of being stuck in the same place as a senior software developer, possibly still having imposter syndrome too? What your steps would be? Well, in larger corporations, when you want to go from senior dev and higher up, it's a lot of it is about social skills and macro skills, architectural skills. You know, that type of thing is really the key to all that. So that's number one. Again, I know people hate to hear it, but the demand is now for developers who have a very good understanding of what you can do with AI now. So if you can take your senior dev skill experience and start incorporating AI tool sets as well, then you're going to be powerful. That's my advice to you. So improve your social skills, you know, so people will want to work with you. Improve your architectural skills, communication skills, and AI skills as well. This is all very, it's all very important. So imposter syndrome, dude, if you've built stuff, you're a senior developer, that tells me that you know what you're doing. You don't become senior by not knowing, right? I totally agree with that. The language you use start to matter less, and especially in the age of AI. It's just a question of which is the right stack for the project. 100%. That's 100%. I've been saying any experienced developer knows this. This is nothing radical. It's nothing new. It surprises juniors because they're all thinking, oh, the key is React or the key is TypeScript. No, it's not. Depends on the demand, right? How many TypeScript jobs are there versus how many TypeScript ready developers versus also the project. Sometimes TypeScript makes sense. Now, I learned this the hard way as well. I remember my first freelance gig, my first PHP freelance gig, I went in to see the client, and I at this point in time in my career, I was a big Java developer. I had my own Java framework that I developed on my own from scratch. I had my own UI layer. I had my own data access layer. I had my own validation objects. It was quite performant. So I go in to see the client, and I say to the client, Mr. Client, okay, I see what you want to do. We should do it in Java. He goes, well, our current system is PHP. And I said, well, nah, PHP sucks, bro. Doesn't have error trapping. It's just a primitive. It was PHP 3, very primitive. But he said, listen, you want the job, you got to do it in PHP. The guy said, I'm not going to have part of my system built in PHP and the other part of my system built in Java, so then I got to get two different developers. He had a good point. So I said, okay. The money was good, so I said, I'll just do it. So I took the job, and what I learned was PHP was indeed crappy at certain things. This is PHP 3. But on the other hand, it was super performant. I remember talking to my brother as a developer, and I said to him, PHP is crappy. We got the die statements instead of try catch. But you know what? It's one line of code to send an email, whereas with Java servlets, it was like a page of code. And I realized, okay, it wasn't very, it had all kinds of limitations, but I could get out an app with 1,000 lines of code instead of 20,000 lines of code. So I said, you got to admit there's an advantage to that, So, it's a lot easier to debug 1,000 lines of code than 20,000 lines of code. All right. What's your experience with TDD, test-driven development? There's been a pushback on it recently for faster development, but I think it should be strongly considered still. No? Well, in terms of integrating test in an application, I've always said for many, many years, because I learned the hard way, once you have a version 1 of your application, a stable version where the use case is very well defined, meaning users have used it, you know what it needs to do, then you start incorporating test within your application development workflow. Otherwise, what you're going to do is you're going to write a lot of tests, and then you're going to see the use case will change a lot. Then you got to start, not only you got to rewrite your core code, you got to rewrite all those tests again. So this, you said that there's a pushback recently. Well, I've been pushing back against this for 20 years. First version, I don't write too many tests, except for some very basic core objects or something. And I would just get it out as quickly as possible. Because what you're going to find when you're going from concept to version 1, going from the alpha to version 1, there's going to be so many changes to application behavior that you're going to have to rewrite a bunch of tests anyway. So I wouldn't be doing it. So I would say back off on the test. So I'm not against it, but wait until you have a solid use case established. Do you teach the fundamentals of Python in your foundation package? Yes, I do have a foundations Python, but in my mentoring program, I do cover the foundation. I cover the foundations of Python, of JavaScript, of full stack, of SQL and relational databases, HTML, of course, and CSS3. Enough so you know what you're doing, and then we can move into the very practical stuff. By the end of the foundations training, you will understand the full stack. You won't be a master, but you understand CRUD operations, so forth, and you understand responsive websites, the stateless nature of the web, how to write clean code. You learn about data types. You learn about methods and functions and object orientation, all the important things. Real songs. I recognize you. How are you doing? I know somebody's an OG stream watcher when they do this. Code long and profit, everybody. Um, what do we got here? Cashier. I just finished 1 year Java plus Spring Boot course, did a banking web app, React with Spring Boot, and now I'm applying for some job postings in LinkedIn. So far, nothing. What would you suggest to me? I would suggest that you look for some work to help a nonprofit, local nonprofit maybe. Help them do some work for free so you can develop some skill there. And also start integrating AI skills, because that's one of the hacks, right? So many developers are still resistant to learning AI because they see it as competitive to development, which it's not. It's just changing development. But that means there'll be a lot of opportunities. So the hardest job to get in software is the first job. Once you get that first job where you can show real world experience, you'll be cool. The thing about also a 1 year course with Java, Spring and Boot and any of these enterprise technologies is that usually enterprises want people with comp sci degrees. So I don't know if you have a computer science degree or not. So it kind of makes it more difficult. So I would look at small business, look to work for nonprofits, get into AI development, learn a little full stack with maybe JS and or PHP or something. That's the opportunity. I like to say AI is heavy on the A and light on the I, right? Right now. Yeah, 100%. AI is not smart. It's not smart. It's a giant probability engine. Or if you know arrays, it's a weighted array metrics. That's all it is. But it's very powerful. It's very capable. Sometimes AI just falls and stumbles right away. And other times it could save you a ton of time. At the end of the day, if people learn how to use AI properly, you have to learn it properly. You have to know how to use it properly. They can be highly productive. Again, AI is not replacing developers. When we say that again, it's not replacing developers, but it is changing development. And right now, AI can solve a lot of problems that prior to AI you could not solve. So AI-based developers or developers know AI, they're printing money now. I see it all the time. Lots of job opportunities. So don't give up on that. What should I focus on if I have time for now? Start the path of full stack dev, learn machine learning. I wouldn't learn deep learning, machine learning. That's like low level model creation. I wouldn't bother with that. I would learn full stack. And while you're learning full stack, learn how to use AI to augment your full stack learning and development, and how to use AI and integrate it in your workflows. That is going to get you a job much quicker than anything else. I studied both, but not deeply to the end. Bachelor's CS, not a master's AI. That's it. On the other hand, if you want to get into machine learning, get a job, there's probably tons of jobs there. But again, I think there's a huge opportunity just leveraging all the AI tool sets. So you got the frontier models, GPT, Gemini, Anthropic, Claude, etc. But learn to use the downstream agentic tools as well. You know, I did a video for Replit just recently, which is one of those downstream agentic tools. Yeah, that's the opportunity. Hey, Uncle Steph, I haven't joined you for a live one in a couple of years, which was on YouTube. Hope you're keeping well, and so are your loved ones. Well, I appreciate that. Thanks. I haven't been doing too many lives, in all fairness to everybody here. But yeah, you too, man. Thanks for joining. Let's say this guy is cooler than the cold side of a pillow. There you go. I think we have to learn how to code AI apps to automate tasks for different types of businesses like lawyers, etc. Again, fantastic. I'm telling you, I've been at this game since 1994. I'm not here to hurt you. I just tell you what I think. This is based on 3 decades of experience writing software and putting out software into the real world, working for clients, building my own software. I have software now, Studioweb.com. You go verify. Deployed it into hundreds of districts, school districts, classroom management tools. So I understand the whole scale, you know. And I'm telling you, This is the huge opportunity, this AI stuff. But you still need to know your fundamentals of code at this point. Even at some point, which eventually will come, where you won't be touching much code at all, by learning the code, it's going to teach you to think in a very effective way. So I remember when I first started learning programming, I started understanding software in a fundamental way that was very hard to explain. So it's very, very important. If you don't mind, if you can give me a thumbs up, I appreciate it. How do you know you're a senior developer? What is the standard to kind of check if there is? Companies either look at time in a company or specifics, but only in one place. So how do you tell? Well, it depends on the company, right? Every company will have their different criteria. Some will say you have to be doing it for a certain amount of time, which seems accurate. And others will say, what have you done, right? If you can lead a project, lead other developers, you can architect, you can make design choices about software, that makes you a senior dev, right? So I'll give you an example. A client comes to you and they say, Steph, we want to build a phone system, a phone answering system powered by AI or whatever. So we want people to be able to call. We want to have an automated system, take their calls, take orders, take payments, route the orders to the kitchen, and schedule delivery and so forth. Can you do that? So you as a senior dev are going to have to be, you have to know the landscape, and you have to be able to say, okay, what can we do with that? What tool sets can we use to implement this? You notice here, I'm not talking about code yet, right? Coding is just an aspect of the process. So senior devs will be able to answer these questions. So this is like more of an AI development age question. But it could be like a junior question. Some company may say to you, "Hey, we're a small company and we want to put up like, information on a regular, like a magazine site. What would you do? Should we build something from scratch or what should we do?" I say, well, how many, are you going to just be you who's going to be writing, or are you going to have multiple people? Well, we're going to probably have multiple people. Maybe you need to stick up a video every now and then. What do you think? So then you're thinking, okay, I could write something from scratch, but that could be kind of silly. I'd probably want to use WordPress, maybe a Drupal, and maybe certain plugins you would use to decorate the WordPress capabilities. You see what I'm saying? This is all part of the job of a senior developer, to be able to make those technology choices. I found that I less and less touch code, but I still have tons of work, laugh aloud. Yeah, as you get, so he said, Fast Wings, Mr. Fast Wings says, I found that less and less I touch code, but I still have tons of work. Well, that's it. The people who are freaking out about software development getting killed by bots, AI bots are writing code, these are juniors or people who are just learning. Because if you're experienced, you know that coding becomes less and less important as you write more and more, as you build more and more software. Long before AI, it's always been like this. The hard part about building software is not the coding. Never was. The hard part was working with the different pieces, the different components, whether it be APIs, different types of servers, making technology choices. That's always been the hard part. What do you think of Anthropic and the US government disagreement? Is it a marketing ploy, as apparently Claude is gaining millions of users a day now, according to a recent tweet? I don't know. I heard about it. Anthropic claims they were concerned about the US's government use of their technology in war. And so I don't know. It's hard to say, right? Sometimes a lot of these movements can be, decisions can be very Machiavellian, meaning they may say this to create an impression, but really they're actually doing that. Happens all the time. So it's hard to say. Are you still doing keto? I am doing keto adjacent, but I've been cheating lately. So what do I mean by keto adjacent? Ketogenic diet is a very low carb diet, under 50 grams a day. So I pulse it in and out. So some days I'll do less than 50 grams, and other days I'll do 100 grams. It depends. Generally speaking, though, Andrew, I tend to favor less and less carbs. I actually feel much better when I eat less and less carbs. That's just the way it is. It's, yeah. A few questions. How you today learn code when companies less and less code do manually? I am a lot years in the industry nowadays. I am freelancer. Again, you got to think about just code. Instead of thinking my mindset is code versus no code, your mindset should be what tools I can use, including code, that will get this job done as quickly as possible. The more jobs you can get done quickly, the more money you can make. Again, the low-hanging fruit here is low-code, no-code AI. When I say low-hanging fruit, I mean that's the fastest route, the easiest route. Hey, Steph, I have a question regarding mobile development. Is it better to learn native or cross-platform? Like better learn Flutter or React Native? That's a good question. You know, again, that comes down to the project, you know? It really does come down to the project. A lot of development for native has been cross-platform with a Flutter or React. But some types of mobile apps, you have to do it native because you need to access hardware that you can't access with an abstraction layer like a Flutter, a cross-platform layer like a Flutter React. Like I have these Bang & Olufsen speakers and they use, I think it was Microsoft Xamarin. I talked to their lead developers a year or so ago, and the thing is so goddamn buggy. And I was talking to the lead developer at the company, it's a publicly traded company, and he was saying that he's been struggling with whether or not to rewrite from scratch natively. It's a hard decision, and to add more complexity to this question, AI changes a lot. I was just talking somebody in my mentoring group. They built something web app, and they had used the AI and they trained the AI. So then they said, AI, build this in native iOS, and it did it right away. You know, I think it took a day or so to get it to work. So it depends. That's a big game changer. Like I said in my previous video, the differences between the languages, although they've never been hugely important, to be honest with you, it's always project specific. These differences are going to start collapsing even more. They already are because of AI. So what would I do? I don't know. What else do you know, man? It's like if you knew nothing. If you know nothing, if you're gonna do cross-platform, I would learn the web. The web's going to offer you many more opportunities. And if you don't want to do the web, I would get into probably iOS development with Swift. I want to start freelancing in 2026, become WordPress developer or Shopify dev. The goal is eventually leave my 9-to-5. I would get into WordPress and touch a little bit on Shopify, because one project you may do WordPress, another project you may do Shopify. But for every Shopify job, there's probably 100, 200, 300, 500 WordPress jobs. But again, if you're getting into this, learn AI. But if you're going to do freelance, you have to learn the full stack, but not the super advanced, but like what I cover. You have to understand the technology. You have to understand what HTML is and CSS and request response cycle and servers and clients and web servers and database servers. You got to understand this stuff. Yeah, but you're going to see, the market's going to tell you. I think what you're going to see is a lot of WordPress. Really good to see live streams back. Roughly how long would it take for someone who is very adept at Excel to learn SQL? Not sure is actually, they're not very related, to be honest with you. But to learn SQL, you're learning about relational databases. You start by learning relational databases, and then you learn SQL, which is the language of relational databases. How long? Like in my pro course, I have one little course, you learn the basics of it. You can get through the basics, I don't know, start getting comfortable within a week. Just basic, the basic database design, basic SQL queries. The more advanced queries can get pretty esoteric. So with AI, you can really accelerate the speed at which you do that. But yeah, it's not too long, not too long. SQL, the structured query language, is a 4GL language, fourth generation language. And it reads in English, right? Select star from table, from database, or select star from table name, where user is from California. So that's like a pseudocode SQL query. So it was actually designed to be more like English than anything else. I really don't know what to learn anymore. Just need a clear path. Start with the web stack fundamentals. As you're learning the web stack fundamentals, start leveraging AI as well. If you want to, that's the beginning. If you want to learn the web stack fundamentals, like in my program, you're looking at about 200 hours, 250. But you don't need to use my program. People come to my program because they want the whole structure and the guidance. That's why it's called the mentoring program. But you don't need me. You can start with HTML, then do a little CSS. You'll know enough when you know how to do a responsive website. Then you can move into other stuff. So I hope that helps. How to deal with a high amount of competition in freelancing platforms. Any advice for part-time freelancer jobs, where to get opportunity? The opportunity now is to be the freelance developer who also understands how to work with AI. That's it. So you can start implementing chatbots for people and start being able to produce work at a record time. That's where the opportunity is. What do you think about combining web development with AI? 100%. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it. AI will F up, sometimes, but other times it does an amazing job. So you learn to work with it, understand it, and then you'll get maximum productivity. Definitely work with them. Do you think that everything has already been invented? No. I mean launching a SaaS. No. Right now there's a new type of SaaS where AI-based SaaS tools. It's already coming out. There's a slew of them. A slew of them. Hey, Elena, how are you? Hope everything is well. Does your mentoring group help with like evaluation of skills, paths to grow, learn skills, and refresh fundamental build on art, like our data structures build? Yeah, exactly. That's the main reason to join the mentoring program, is for that. I do provide fundamental training, interactive training with my own platform. But the main value is everything else. Like I'm actually adding new stuff to the program all the time, especially now when I start adding a lot of new stuff. My program is very job and career oriented. Whether you want to get a job, you want to freelance, or you want to start a SaaS business, it's very oriented towards that. For me, all this technology, they're just tools to get to the end. And the end is to build things. Say, what is the use case, codex, clone, replit? Just try to understand where the case is. Say, what is the use case? What is use case codex? I think what he's trying to say, fast wings, is that you just have to figure out when it makes sense to use codex, clone, or replit. Understand when to use them. And that's the low-hanging fruit. Like the guy who was asking, how do you get the jobs? You get the jobs by doing the new stuff that people haven't learned yet. That's the opportunity. Is DevOps cloud future compared to full stack? I can't say which one is more future-proof. Developers are going to be around forever, but they're just going to be the new type of developers. That's all, Oh, mentor, my mentor. Yeah, I know what what movie you're referencing there. Robin Williams. Also, does your mentoring group include stuff like AI too? Yeah, I just put in a brand new module on AI, how to think about AI, understanding, broadly what to do. And I'm adding new modules. Like I have a few planned out. So, for example, I teach the foundations of code. We've got about HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript, PHP, SQL, and databases. You learn about this. You learn the basics of how to write code properly, data types, that kind of stuff. But you also learn how to freelance. You learn how to communicate well. You learn about AI. You learn about WordPress. You learn how to position all these things. The idea is to have a good understanding of foundations, understand how to architect and to make choices about technology choices for a particular job. That's the whole point of it too. So yes, the answer is yes. I do include AI stuff, and a lot of it's coming out. I use Python for cybersecurity. Is Python a good language to build a SaaS? Yeah, lots of people have built great SaaS products on Python. This is a good language. All right, thanks for the super chat, man. Bro, where's the coffee? Sip, great advice. Ooh, you know where it is. It's a little cold right now. There you go. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching the stream. I'm here to help. What goals you set when learning a new framework? Like when can you say that I'm ready to apply for a job? Build something. You don't want to be constantly in tutorial hell. You want to just get to the point where you understand enough to build. You have to understand something that a lot of people don't understand when they're new to this. There's no developer who knows everything. Impossible. Even when I was neck deep in Java coding and I built my own frameworks, I built all kinds of apps, I still only used a very small subset of Java. One of the mistakes you can make as somebody getting into development is spending too much time learning stuff where you don't have a demand for it. So one of the things I do is I teach you what you need to learn. I have two categories of technology in development. I have the must-learn fundamentals, and then I have all this other stuff, which is called the need-to-nerd stuff, the stuff that you only use and learn when you have a job. Because what you don't understand, once you understand, a lot of people, what they don't understand is once you have a grasp of the fundamentals, learning a new language, learning a new tech, learning a new database, learning a new full stack framework, etc., it's not that hard. It's not that hard. And that's, in fact, one of your jobs as a developer, as a pro, is to be able to learn new things. So when people are saying, should I learn this, should I learn that? It's like, it almost doesn't matter. You see what I'm saying? But again, that being said, I think maximum speed and opportunity to get jobs, to freelance, to start businesses, learn full stack, learn AI stacks, low code, no code, and all that integration. You have that, very powerful. So in terms of, again, set your learning. So let's say you want to learn, I don't know, Express.js. Make sure you know your foundations of the web, request response model, servers, clients, JavaScript, client-side code rendering, server-side code rendering, HTML, CSS. You don't have to know everything just so you can build something. And then I would just build something, you know? And then when you're ready to apply for a job, when you can build something, build something. What did you create today? I cooked a steak. I cooked a steak today. It was pretty good steak, medium rare, with Montreal steak spice. That's one thing I created today. What else? Nah, I didn't make any coffee. I just buy my coffee. No, I didn't write any apps today. I'm not a big code writer anymore. I have been, you know, getting pretty old. No, I architect a lot. Now I'm just looking at what I'm doing now, all joking aside, related to technology. I am looking at this AI landscape now. And I'm looking at all the new tools that are coming online. It's vast. And one of the hardest things about it is figuring out what's useful, what's not useful. And the problem with AI, if you're going to call it a problem, is that it's changing so quick. It's like every week it just... it was the same thing in the early days of the web, by the way. So the key to all of this is you got to concentrate on, once you have your fundamentals, concentrate on getting jobs done. That's the key. And let the jobs dictate what technologies you're going to learn. So what I've been doing is just trying to get, had conversations with a couple friends of mine are building apps with AI now. One guy's got a startup. I didn't talk to him today, but yeah, that's what I did today. Just looking around. So I created my mind. As an experienced dev, I don't like WordPress mainly because of how much maintenance is involved. Yeah, WordPress can be a pain, but it's like WordPress has been the last 10, 15 years, the 800-pound gorilla in the room, in the sense that developers hate working with it because it can be a pain, but there's so much demand because so many companies use WordPress. Thank you. How would you learn design if you suck at or would you use community templates? I would use templates. There are basic design principles that will make your layouts look pretty good. Alignment, white space, use one, perhaps two fonts in your page max. Create a lot of breathing space, so don't squish all your elements together. Consistency of the color scheme. So don't have red buttons on one page and yellow on the other page, unless red has a meaning and yellow has a meaning. So you have to apply meaning to this color scheme. And finally, there are psychological new colors. So certain colors are exciting colors and certain colors are relaxing colors. So for example, I'll give you 3 examples. Nightclub, you could use reds and neon blue and dark page, it's a club. Wedding photography site or wedding location site, pastels, whites, greens, pastel yellows, pastel blues, or light. So in Studioweb, for example, I use greens and orange a lot. Green and orange a lot because they're calming colors, pastel-y. So the psychology of the color scheme, please. So you can follow these basic rules. I laid out some of them for you. But you could follow design principles. So at the end of the day, use templates. But when you use templates, one thing that people do is they mess up the template. So they get a perfectly good template, and then they start moving things around, and they don't know basic design principles like I talked about, alignment and so forth, and they start effing things up. So if you do use a template, which is good, I encourage you not to F them up too much and learn those design principles. Again, I teach that as well in my stuff. What is something new you have learned recently that's surprising or made you go, wow, or that's interesting? Stuff in the AI. It's like a few months ago, I was playing around with AI. So I do a keto diet. I'm not the most loyal in the last few months, but the thing I used to hate was tracking all my calories, right? I look on a plate, how many calories I have in there, what are my macros, how many fats, how many carbs, how many proteins. So I found out that GPT, it was the only one who could do it at the time. You take a photo and you can tell it, hey, tell me what's on the plate. Can you give me the macro breakdown? It's very, very accurate. Tested on many, many plates. It's like super accurate. I'd say 98% accurate, which is good enough. So that's freaked the hell out of me. So my friend here is emailing me with his travel tourism business. He's showing me all the stuff he's doing with Clawbot and Claude, and it's just pretty wild stuff. It's not trivial, though. It's complex stuff. So that's what wowed me, all that kind of stuff. Besides AI, software development hasn't changed much in like 10 years, right? What we did in 2015, pretty much the same as we did in terms of coding and software and frameworks and libraries. It's pretty much the same. So that's been pretty meh, but the AI stuff is wowing me. Hey, Steph, great to see you streaming more. I enjoy your courses on Studioweb. Hey, thanks, man. Cool. Well, thanks for joining. Same process as did the profession of sound engineering, with the proliferation of more accessible tools, making the engineers more capable and not dependent on big companies and infrastructure. Yeah, pretty much. I predict, and we're already starting to see it, we're going to see many small companies, one guy, one woman, 2 cats, dog, and they're able to produce super successful applications. I was just talking to a friend of mine today. I won't give away what he's talking about, but anyway, I'm not going to talk about what he did. But anyway, he sees an application that he could build. AI makes it possible, and it can make a lot of money with it. Is it going to be $1 billion business? No. But could he make $500,000 a year? Very likely, very possible. So yeah, it's very much so. And that's the thing about these new development technologies, is that it allows developers, a team of 1, a team of 3, to be able to compete with before it would take 100 people. So my prediction is we're going to see a lot more software development happening. we're going to see a lot more, you're going to see a greater distribution of the load, meaning there's going to be a lot more independent developers doing very, very well. That's why I don't think this stuff is bad for developers. I think it's very good. I think it's great. Do you have an opinion on what the best design pattern and architecture to build a SaaS? That's a very broad question. Depends on the type of SaaS. That being said, I have my 3 favorite design patterns. MVC, number 1. All the full stacks, I believe, use that, except for maybe Microsoft WinForms. Although they do have MVC implementation. So MVC is number 1. Dependency injection, number 2. I used to use it expressed in something called a servlet filter. Facade, number 3. These are the 3 design patterns that I leveraged all the time. All the time. There's others. Anyway, those are the 3. So when you're building a SaaS, you want to keep the code base very simple. That's what MVC does. It segments your code into model, view, and controller. Model is all your business logic, database logic. View is, of course, all the view templates. And the controller is the brokering code that brokers the interaction between the front and the back. And then you use dependency injection, which allows you to add functionality to an app without having to mess up your app. And facade is just a way to simplify code. But anyway, we won't get too deep into all this. With AI, do you believe that programmers are going through the same process as did the profession of sound engineering once did? Yeah, 100%. Well, I'm not a sound engineer, so I only have an inkling. My brother was a sound engineer. In many ways, when all these new tools came out, it was a democratization of sound engineering, meaning you didn't need to pay for studio time and you could just do stuff at home, right? I think like way back in the day, I think Radiohead recorded their first album in your dorm room, right, on a laptop, if I recall. Yeah. Hey, no worries. I mean, with the proliferation of more accessible tools, making engineers more capable and not dependent on big companies and their infrastructure, expensive equipment, 100%, yeah, I agree. Like, I think you can have small one-man shops making very big inroads where they couldn't before. What's your thoughts on light mode or dark mode on websites? One over the other, both ability to toggle. Well, number 1, in terms of reading text, light mode is usually easier. Number 2, it also depends on the theme. If you have a Halloween site or a death metal band, you're probably going to go with a dark theme. Yeah. My problem with AI is that it changes so rapidly that I can't adapt suitable workflow. In my experience, using AI without proper workflow, intensive supervision ends up causing problems. Yeah, that's the problem. There were problems with the web in initial stages as well. The key to working with AI, is to keep your AI implementations fine-grained, meaning you don't want to do too expansive. You want to have AI build this part here, and this part here, and this part here. And you're going to have to adapt with the time. The good news is that it's so quick that you should be able to. Is it worth to learn CMS like WordPress alongside your main web stack? You just learn the basics. Like WordPress, I consider for freelancing, especially, it's a very important skill. I have a WordPress basics course in the program, just so you get your head wrapped around it, so you can install it. Again, you don't want to spend too much time trying to learn everything, so I curate what it is that is important, so you can, we want to get you in the ring. We want to get you making money as quickly as possible. I mean that the real programmers will make the AI his team in many tasks. 100%, I'm already seeing it. How do you think the best way to deal with loneliness is? Lizard Wizard, great course, by the way. I'm glad you like Lizard Wizard. Well, loneliness is like a programming, as you know, you've done Lizard Wizard. It's really, it's almost a decision, but it's a decision based on early childhood experience. One of the things you could do is just go to the coffee shop, start talking to people, get out. One of the reasons I get out, I live right in the core of my city, and I get it. People know me all around downtown. Coffee shops and waitresses and restaurant owners. I go, I talk to people. I get around and talk to a lot of people. Reach out to people. If you're feeling lonely, just reach out to people. But also reprogram your brain using some of those lizard techniques. I'm glad you like Lizard Wizard. Lizard Wizard is my course on the 2 operating systems of your brain. I have Lizard. I'm coming out with a new addition to Lizard Wizard, by the way. Update. This is Wizard 2. Now the internet is full with tailwind slop. Soon front end. I mean that all of front end from design to website will be most in-demand jobs. Could very well be. Could very well be. That's why, it's almost an hour. That's why I always emphasize the fundamentals, because if you have the fundamentals, Go. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let me know. Maybe I screwed up my mic. Can you hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3. Oh, can you hear me now? Let me know. You keep saying fundamentals are loop. Very important. Very important. There we go. Got fixed. Wow, got really? It's the matrix, dude. It's the matrix. It's sending you a message. It's sending you a message. It's telling you what's important. All right, good. Always a professional stream here. Always a professional stream. Oh my God. Well, we're going to do an experiment. I'm going to see. I'm going to go back to my lab, see if it fixes it now. Good Lord, we thought we breached us. Ha ha. All right, let's try it again. Hello. How's that? Is that better now? Is it better? How's this now? I just switched back to this thing again. Did it work? Let me know. Did this one work, or I'm going to have to go back to the old mic? Let me know if this new mic is actually working now. This is a real life debugging. Fundamentals, ChatGPT mic. That's funny. All right, guys. So you're all good. Okay, so this mic is working again, right? Because I'm back on this thing now. I'm back on this thing. All right. Yeah, radio guy. Okay. All right, guys. No bugged anymore. No more fundamentals infinite loop. Not bugged anymore. Okay. Now, good. That's interesting. There you go. Sign from the gods, my friend. Sign from the gods. All right. Thanks for watching the stream. I'll let you go. Go long and profit. If you disagree with anything I have to say in the stream, let me know. And yeah, we'll talk soon. I'll end off with my ASMR video here. Cheers, guys.